Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. For those that are new here, I'm Mitchell and I'm a travel photographer and videographer. I'm living the dream, exploring the world while making money at the exact same time. I'm super excited to show you how I managed to take my passion of photography and turn it into an income. Whether you're into photography, videography, or just building a brand as an influencer, this video is going to be packed full of tips and insights on how I do it. As a travel photographer, there are several different streams of income you can tap into. I'm going to break down the ones that work best for myself, and hopefully you can incorporate this into your business. The first thing we're going to talk about is brands and tourism. So let's start off with actually the tourism part of this. If you've been following along my Instagram, my YouTube channel for a while now, you'll know that I've worked with a lot of different Airbnbs, literally from Canada to Australia. And when I say I work with Airbnbs, I actually get hired from the owner of the Airbnb to come out to their place and take some photos. Most of the time we actually get to stay at the location, so like it's a little vacation and you're also getting paid. I'm not going to go too far into depths with these details, but I'll give you a couple little tips here. Personally, I like to go on Instagram, find some local Airbnbs and reach out that way. If you are just getting started, I would highly recommend just reaching out and asking for a service exchange, maybe 1 or 2 different places. And after you have some experience and a portfolio to show them, then you can start asking for some income. Depending on your location, for example, Ontario, you can go to Instagram accounts like Ontario Airbnbs and find some local ones that way. There is a lot of Airbnbs out there that are definitely willing to do a service exchange with you because it benefits both parties. Once you have a portfolio and a name for yourself through the Airbnb community, a lot of Airbnbs will actually start reaching out and asking for your prices. And the cool thing about Airbnb photography is it's actually worldwide. So you can go to any country and get hired by them as well. If you are doing some traveling in the near future, I would definitely recommend looking for some Airbnbs a couple months in advance in hopes you can stay somewhere and also get paid. The same aspect can be done with hotels and motels anywhere around the world as well. Now let's talk about brands. It's the same thing with the service exchange. I would recommend reaching out to some local companies, even go to a farmer's market and see if someone would like to offer their product for some photos. And once you have a portfolio, it's really easy to start reaching out to other companies looking for an income. I would say the only downside about brand photography while traveling is if you have something too big of an item, it's a little difficult to travel with. When working with brands, unfortunately, you have to pick and choose who you work with. Because, for example, if you're getting hired to shoot like a paddleboard and you're nowhere near any water or anything like that, it's going to be a little difficult to showcase the paddleboard's features. When working with said brands, highly recommend reaching out again on Instagram, finding some local brands. That's the best way to start off, and eventually you'll be able to make it into your own personal brand of photography. One thing you could do as a travel photographer as well is not something you even need to do while you're traveling. You could be selling prints online. You could be working with different shops like Shopify, and you can sell your own prints. And if you are selling them consistently, you could be traveling the world while making money that way. You could be taking photos of really cool mountains, uploading them to the site, and people could be buying them while you're still there. When working with Airbnbs and brands, don't be scared. Pitch your ideas and you'll be able to come to an agreement, and hopefully that works out for you. Depending on the photography that you do, you could actually be doing portraits, family photos, weddings, everything of the sort while you're traveling too. If you're looking to shoot some portraits, you can find some Facebook groups, local groups of wherever you're traveling to, and potentially post on there saying, hey, you're going to be in the area on this date, and reach out to people that way, and you might be able to pick up a couple photo shoots that way. Weddings, for example, most people book out a year or 2 in advance, so you would really need to know where you're gonna be when, so that's a little bit of a harder one, but that's just kind of an example of other type of photography things you can do. Now let's move on to videography. When it comes to the videography, your best bet is to work with travel tourism boards. You can look into different travel tourism boards by looking up countries, the cities, the little local towns, wherever you're going to be traveling to. A lot of the tourism boards would really appreciate having this really nice put together video on why people should be traveling to the location. When it comes to tourism boards, they also would really like to see your portfolio. I would highly recommend filming around your local city or local towns around to get some experience. When it comes to the tourism boards and making some really cool videos, I would highly recommend owning a drone, because that definitely makes you above a lot of the other people when it comes to certain shots that the tourism board would love to see. I think tourism boards are a little bit more difficult to get into contact with personally. I wouldn't go through Instagram or anything like that, because I believe they have social media marketers that run their Instagram. So if you want to reach out personally, I would try to find a local email and reach out that way. A little side note, if you're reaching out through email or Instagram or anything like that for any of these subjects, you can use ChatGPT, and hopefully it'll give you kind of like a baseline of an email. I wouldn't recommend copy and pasting, because that's just definitely not professional, but if you're looking for some extra help with creating an email, I would recommend that. The last thing for videography would be honestly YouTube. And you're not gonna ever start off and be the biggest YouTuber ever. And you don't need to make the best content you've ever seen. Just create some small vlogs, and once you get really into the travel aspect of it, a lot of people are going to be watching your content. And why I say that is because you can actually make money while you're creating your own travel videos. First of all, it's going to create memories for you. And second of all, you might be able to be lucky enough to become partners on YouTube and make some money through this. It would be honestly a dream to be hired just to go to a different country to make a video for your own YouTube promoting to go there. Insane, I know, but highly recommend making a YouTube channel and starting here. When it comes to making a YouTube channel, I would say just start making content. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be the best thing you've seen. It doesn't have to be getting all the views. Just create it and start making a little channel, and eventually, if you're consistent, it will start to grow with you. Let's talk about being a travel influencer. You don't have to know anything about photography or videography to be the travel influencer. You just have to know lots about social media. So, Instagram is probably one of the biggest things. Obviously, you can use Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, whatever you want to use. Being a travel influencer, most people are kind of looking up to you and wanting to see where you're traveling to and why they should travel there. So a lot of tourism boards, Airbnbs, things like that actually want to work with a travel influencer, because it'll hopefully get them more people and make more money for them. Being a travel influencer is actually a really cool thing, because a lot of the Airbnbs and a lot of hotels and locations will actually want you to go to those locations and promote them on your own social media. That'll benefit actually you and the other company. For example, if it's an Airbnb reaching out to the influencer, it'll benefit both parties. So the Airbnb will most likely pay the influencer to be like, hey, come on over and do XYZ, like amount of stories, photos, videos, whatever you want to do, and promote our Airbnb on your page. 9 times out of 10, the Airbnb is going to get some bookings through the influencer just from posting on their own personal page. As an influencer, it's the same thing working with a travel tourism board. They want you to come to the location and just collaborate and be able to show what you're doing and what you're up to in the location. A lot of the time as an influencer, a lot of people and a lot of brands might actually sponsor you. For example, they might just send you some free stuff for you to wear during some of your videos. They might actually pay you to wear some of these stuff in some of your videos. We'll bring back the example for the paddleboard. These companies will actually give you a paddleboard and probably pay you just so you can take a cute little video of you paddleboarding on a lake and just tagging them. That's all they want. They'll pay you to do that. It's crazy. When I mentioned before that the photographers can actually make money selling their own prints, it's the same thing with influencers. They can create their own brand. In being a travel influencer, you could be selling all of your clothing while you're just traveling the world. You could be selling shorts, t-shirts, hoodies, whatever you're selling while you're in the middle of Mexico you could be selling as much as possible, and that is a huge way to be making income while you are a travel influencer. And there you go. That is a ton of the information I've gathered over the years of being a photographer, videographer, influencer. Some of it I actually already personally knew from experience, and some of it I've just learned from other local photographers and friends. Comment down below what type of photographer, videographer, influencer you are. I would love to know, and I'd love to potentially collaborate in the future. Don't forget to like this video, and please subscribe to this channel, because again, making money while traveling, this is a good step to make it. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this, and I hope you learned something new. And if you did, comment down below what you learned, and I'd love to know. Thank you. See ya.